let's get sloppy. That's right, you heard me. We're making sloppy joes. What's going on, class? It's me, Mr. C, the Cook and Teach, swapping out textbooks for recipes, pencils for spatula. Tonight we are making my family's favorite sloppy joes. Here's how you make it. You're gonna need some ground beef and some onions to start. First, we're gonna cut our onions and dice those up. You're gonna need 2 onions here. We're gonna dice these nice and fine. Put it in our Dutch oven back there. With this recipe, like I said, you're gonna need some ground beef. You're gonna need some onions, whole lot of flavorful spices that are gonna pack a punch, as well as some ketchup, mustard, and a secret ingredient, barbecue sauce. Now, this might not be your mother's sloppy joe, but it does taste darn delicious. So go ahead, slice up our onions here. Now, sloppy joes is a family staple. Something that we usually have on a weeknight when you just need that meal to get you through the night, through the day, right? Something to look forward to. This is it right here. All right. So we're gonna finish dicing up these 2 onions here. Okay. That looks good there. All right, so we got our 1 onion. Now I'm gonna be serving these sloppy joes with a fantastic brioche bun. Shout out to Aldi and their buns out in Aldi there. They are phenomenal, these brioche buns. Perfect sesame seeds on top. And you always, always have to serve sloppy joes with a side of rippled or ruffle potato chips. Okay. All right, now once we finish dicing these onions, our ground beef, we've got about 2.5 pounds here of ground beef. So I'm making a larger recipe, obviously because my family loves it, but also it doubles as a great leftover dish. In fact, some people would say it tastes better even the second day. So, all right, we've got our onions sliced here. So I've got 2.5 pounds of ground beef. We're gonna put that into our Dutch oven with our onions, saute those, sweat the onions, get those to be nice and soft and caramelized. The ground beef is gonna brown. We wanna make sure there's no pink there. And then the magic happens. We're gonna add different spices and sauces and flavors to really level this thing up and make it more than just your regular old can of manwich. Now, I'm not gonna hate on manwich, easy and delicious, sure, but this will be just, if not better, than your old can of manwich, and it's super simple. Just a few ingredients, toss it into the Dutch oven, cook it, let it simmer, and you're done. Let's head on over to the stovetop to get this thing going. What's going on, guys? We're at the stovetop. We've got our Dutch oven here already heating up. I'm gonna hit this with some olive oil at the bottom of our Dutch oven, and then in is going to go our ground beef. Again, I am using about 2.5 pounds of ground beef, and in goes our diced onions. Gonna mix this up Get everything nice and browned and caramelized and looking delicious before we hit it with our beautiful seasonings and sauces. That is just going to take this to the next level. I used about maybe 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and just give it maybe another good tablespoon, another glug there. I want to make sure that we're stirring this. We don't want anything to, stick and burn to the bottom of our Dutch oven. We want all those flavors to really come out when this gets going. Now, already I'm starting to see the onions start to sweat, the ground beef starting to turn that beautiful brown color. Now, once this all starts to look like the onions have sweat and starting to soften, the ground beef, you don't see as much of the pink in there, that's when we come in with all the flavorings and seasonings and sauces. And then finally, to finish this off, we're going to put in all that. We're going to bring it up to a boil on high. And as soon as we start to see that sauce, that liquid start to boil, we're going to kill the heat, put it down to low. We're going to cover this Dutch oven up with its lid, and we're just going to let it do its thing for about 30 to 40 minutes, okay? That's going to allow time for all those seasonings and flavors to get incorporated. Everything is just going to marry itself together and make for one delicious sandwich. Okay, already we are looking pretty good here. My ground beef is all but almost cooked through. The onions are starting to become a little bit more translucent. You can see they're no longer that like stale white color. If anything, more translucent, soft. So this is looking great. All right. At this point, we're going to go ahead and add in our seasonings. I will drop the seasonings in the comments and description down below. But in here, we've got some chili powder, some garlic salt, some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, some brown sugar as well. So we're going to go ahead and put that in to our ground beef and onion mixture. Let's give this a quick little stir. Get all those seasonings into the dish. This already is starting to smell perfect. Okay. Next, that was the dries ingredients. Next is going to come our wet. So I'm using about a cup of ketchup, and then in addition, I'm using about a cup of barbecue sauce. You can use your favorite type of barbecue sauce. I'm using just a traditional gold barbecue sauce. Make sure we get all that in there. Okay, give this a quick little stir. Get all that meat and onion covered in the ketchup and barbecue sauce. Now already you can start to see this is turned a little bit more liquidy, okay, but we're not done. We're going to add a little bit more liquid to this. Got about 3/4 cup of water into the Dutch oven there. We've got about 4 tablespoons of white vinegar. Give it a nice acidic bite. Next up, we've got 2 final ingredients. We're going to do 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And finally, I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of yellow mustard. Oh, look out. There's 2. 3, and 4. All right. Give this one final good stir. You can already start to see the liquid is already bubbling and boiling, so we're actually going to stir this in, make sure everything's nice and well and combined. But then I'm going to go ahead and kill the heat. Kill the heat, put the lid on it, okay? Now, the reason why we're going to kill the heat, put the lid on it here, is that's going to allow this liquid, the sauce, to reduce. It's going to allow all those flavors to come together, and we will see you in 30 to 40 minutes for the plating of this fantastic Sloppy Joe recipe. I'll see you in 30. We're back. The Sloppy Joes are off the stove. It's been about 30 minutes, and I'll tell you what, it smells fantastic. Now, to serve your Sloppy Joe, find the right vessel for you. In this case, I am using a brioche sesame seed bun. You can eat this however you want. I know people that have added cheese, barbecue sauce, giardiniera, hot sauce, sriracha, you name it. We're gonna go traditional today. You can either serve this open-faced, or how I like to serve it is put it on the bun. Now, I've been told, over serve it so that you can scoop it up afterwards with some delicious ruffles. Now, the best way I like to serve it, some people do it open face. I like to put it on the bun, close it up, and put it in my face. Let's give it a bite. Oh my gosh. Besides it being messy, it tastes fantastic. The barbecue sauce gives it a nice flavor to it. All those different spices and seasonings, the brown sugar, it's sweet. Oh, perfect. The family is going to absolutely love this dish, and I think you will too. Thank you so much for watching. What do you want to see me cook next? What is your favorite easy weekday meal to serve for you and your family? I'm Mr. C, the Cook and Teach, and as always, it's Cook and Teach out.